Are there any tools to help you look inside? How does the process of shutting down your mind or senses work?
Actually, there is a process to shut the mind, which is a very ancient program designed in the yogic system. Without going into the system, also a person can directly shut down, but it will not be fully effective in the beginning. How to shut down? Because of the fact that all the senses are jutting outside. So either you have to plug your ears or you have to close your eyes or like that. And that is actually extraneous support you take. So, in certain meditations, you have to meditate with open eyes. It is more tough to meditate with open eyes. When you are really a good practitioner, you can meditate with open eyes. Impressions won't come inside. Things are outside, but you are not taking any information from the external world through the eyes, nor through other sense organs. So that requires some kind of a practice. And the practice which is proposed in yogic system is called pratyahara, which is a practice by itself. And that practice dates back maybe 3,000 years. It's a very, very ancient practice. And the simple technique is, normally we are seeing things which are outside. How to withdraw the normal relationship with the external world? By shutting down. For shutting down, what do? You focus on your body. When you focus any part of your body, your attention will stay there. It is not going outside and carrying information from outside. So that's a celebrated practice what they have proposed in Pratyahara. Very ancient practice, as I said. The simple practice is you focus your attention to your, for example, your toes. You go on concentrating on your toes. It is not in a way concentration, but you are trying to feel what is happening in your toes. The sensations actually. And then when you started to see the sensation which is happening in your toes, you are concentrated on the toes, and the world outside is not anymore existing for you. So only the toes are existing in your awareness. And then you withdraw the attention to the ankles. It's a practice, I am saying a practice. Withdraw the attention to the ankles. And then you focus your attention on the ankles. Thereby you forget even the toe that was there in existence few seconds ago. And then you withdraw the attention to the calves, to the knees, to the thighs, to the groin, to the anus, to the genital, and also from there to your chest, your shoulders, your armpit, your elbows, your wrist. Then goes back into the throat, into the tip of the tongue, to the tip of the nose, tip of the nose, eyes, ears, and then finally you come back into the mind. You start looking into your mind. It's a training program which a person is exposed to, a practitioner is exposed to in the beginning. So thereby naturally he will be cut down from his connection from the external world. Now he is on his body, aware of what is going on in the body. And then slowly the attention will be withdrawn into the mind. Then you are looking the mind only. Thereby you are not gathering any other information from the external world. So already there are certain informations which are there in the mind, which is already gathered from the very beginning of our life. And all these informations are there. For some reason, certain information pop up from the memory as a thought. When you started to look into the mind after withdrawal, you see that thoughts are coming. And that is actually an internal observation. So what are you observing? You are observing the thought which is happening in the mind. When you are looking at the thought, sometimes the thought may remain as thought. Sometimes you see there is a tendency for the thought to burst into an action, and sometimes the thought will undergo a process to create some knowledge out of it. And then maybe further programs, as I was saying before, that it tries to create some ideas or beliefs or something. and you get identified with that. So once when you are slowly looking into the mind, you see thoughts are coming up. When you see thought, one thought is coming, some other similar thoughts are coming from the mind is analyzing, it makes a judgment, and then sometimes it disappears. When it disappears, what happens is, it goes back into the memory. It stays there. It may pop up again. When a proper situation comes, it will pop up again, for you to continue your program of knowing. And the observation you can deepen to see what is there between two thoughts. One thought is coming, it stays for a little time. You see it, you have seen the whole process the mind is doing, and another thought is coming, you are seeing the whole process. Now your interest deepens to see what's there between two thoughts. When you look between thoughts, you see that there is nothing. Between thoughts there is nothing. There is an empty space. And you start to observe the empty space. Thereby the tendency for the mind to create new thoughts goes down. Thereby you get more wider gaps between thoughts. So you can slowly start to relax in the gap between thoughts. And don't mistakenly believe that this gap is the observer. It is not. It is just a silent gap, it's a glimpse of the observer. So you are observing the observer now. Up till this time, either you were observing the world or you were observing your mind. Now what are you observing? You are observing nothing. Between thoughts there is nothing. There is only absolute silence. So you become the observer of the deeper silence which is within, which is not involved in any process. Then consequently what will happen? You become silent. Your mind drops. When the mind drops, the division finishes. You are not like a separate entity from the deeper silence which is within. If you ask the question, what is there before the beginning? What would be the answer? I don't know. Or you can get into an answer that there must be nothing. So there must be an emptiness which was there beyond, at the beginning. And from that everything came into being. It is the same system the mind is also working. There is nothing in the mind, suddenly a thought is coming. The thought creates a world. And then you leave that world. You get into troubles and joy and suffering, and you understand something. It will be stored in the memory. And from the memory, new thoughts are coming. By looking at it, you understand this is the function of the mind. There is nothing other than these three functions are happening in the mind. One is perception, the other is cognition, and the last is conceptualization. These are the functions of the mind. So once you master this, by your own observation, you understand that this is the only thing that is happening in your life all the time, nothing else. And you become the observer of the program of the mind. That's the mastery over the mind. Then the mind cannot trick you. I cannot just push you out for small things. You rest in the deeper silence constantly. And when you rest in the deeper silence, you are still, the observer is on. And you understand that the observer and the observed is not different. The observer is the observed. And there ends the division. And you feel full and contented. That's how the program could be proceeded with.